Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Red It. It is HOU Ollie and
Nick.
And we have a special guest today.
You can call me Disha Dish.
Disha Dish. We will leave all of her stuff in the description down below.
So make sure y'all tap in, get in contact, and show some support.
Show some love.
This is a tough topic today.
Today we will be talking about the quiet on set scenario.
Man, shit ain't got serious.
We're going to talk about what we think about the situation, how we feel about the situation, and things that could have been prevented.
So, by the way, spoiler warning. So, if you haven't already watched it, it's 4 episodes, not that long. Go check it out real quick and come back.
And I think you guys should watch it before y'all make opinions.
Yeah.
And it is an eye-opener on the background scene of Hollywood for kids.
It's crazy because you'll really sit back and watch and think, oh, everything is great. They living the best life, limelight. And then you watch this and you're just like, damn, that's totally different from what I thought.
I mean, I feel like people our age, we've seen them grow up and we've seen the alternate personality that they can become. For example, Amanda Bynes is one.
Drake Bell.
Well, Drake Bell, yeah, he did have his episodes.
What about the kid?
Miley Cyrus had a little episode.
The kid from Home Alone.
So at our age, Raven Simone, like it's just.
Oh, what about her?
Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, let's get into it.
It's really when you sit back and think about it, how we could really just sit there and watch that and like, they some real good actors for real, cause.
And then I feel like in a case in point, you're acting in real life too. You have to.
Yeah.
If you think about it, even for the adults that are in the entertainment business, it's hard. The ones that make you laugh the most, like Robin Williams, they're not as happy, So imagine for a child how that is. So
the endless hours, the still having to go to school, so many things.
That killed me. I ain't gonna count. When I was watching it and they was like, yeah, we got 3 hours of school.
Had to go to school on set.
How many hours you gotta go to school? How many hours? 3? A day. I
want to talk to the teacher.
Okay.
I be like, dang, like, y'all be in the set literally all day. Like, that's how they had it. Like, they'll go record or shoot the show, go do their school thing for 3 hours, and then shoot the show again. And they don't get home till like 11 or 12, and then repeat it.
You have no real life outside of work. You're working all day, working for the show, working for school, working again, going home just to sleep.
Yeah.
All right.
So, guys, basically how this is going to go, obviously all 3 of us have watched it, so we all have our own points that kind of just stuck out to us while we were watching it, and we're just going to elaborate on that a little bit more. You want to go first with your points? Ladies first.
Well, I want you to go first because earlier you expressed your feelings about Dan.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want you to express more so I can touch on that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep it a stack. I'm going to be honest with you. Dan, you fucked up.
You know you done fucked up, right?
No!
You real fucked up. Like, if bad boss was a definition, you would be the definition of it. Not only terrible, like
Terrible boss.
You're yelling at kids like they grown ass people, telling them to do better, do this, do that. But you even said it in the interview that most of these kids, this is their first time.
Fun for me working with young people is that it's fresh and new to them. This is often their first or second job.
Doing movies, it's their first time acting. So the fact that you're talking to them like they're supposed to be professionals is kind of crazy. And what else just didn't sit right with me as Dan, as a person, was just how he treated the women out there. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, in the first episode when he was talking about those 2 ladies and they had to split a salary.
I was going to have to split a salary with a writer that I did not know.
So they were getting
two for the price of one.
While all the other men got like paid the regular salary, was absolutely crazy to me. Because how do you split somebody's salary so that two people are getting one salary? So you mean to tell me if a job is paying you like 1,000, like 12 every month, you splitting that between two people and they supposed to survive off of that?
Nigga, please.
And not only that, but a horrible work environment. You got them giving you massages.
I beg your pardon?
That one lady, when she was telling him about a new show idea, and he thought it would be funny that she would explain it to him while she's getting sodomized.
Dan said, you know, it'd be funny if you leaned over the table and acted like you were being sodomized.
What? Who thinks that's funny?
This nigga's crazy.
How do you think that's funny? That's horrible. That's honestly horrible. And then when one of the girls found out that you can't even do that you can't split a salary, that's against the law. And when she went and spoke up about it, why did you call and threaten her, talk about if I found out this is what you did, that you did this, you'll never work in Hollywood again?
And denies it.
And then denies it. Like,
I plead the fifth.
like the whole time I'm watching this 4-episode series, it's just Dan Schneider denied this, Dan Schneider denied this, Dan Schneider denied. Why are so many people saying the same thing, Dan? Why everybody on your case, Dan? If you able to deny it, if it ain't true, why has everybody got the same story? Because it's not like they all got different stories and they telling different stuff. It's the same thing. So what's going on, brother? And my thing about Dan personally, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I can read people to the T or anything like that. But Dan reminds me of those kids that honestly just didn't heal from that bullying that they experienced in high school or in middle school.
Fat kid.
Yeah, like he was a fat kid. Everybody always looked over him. Women always wanted somebody else. So he never really healed from that. And so moving forward, when he got this little taste of power, and then he realized that, oh, okay, people need him, or like he's needed, now he becomes a dictator. Now you an asshole. Now all of it is just jokes, but they not all jokes, bro. Like, it's like you got the people that you working with scared out of their mind to even be themselves at work, bro. Like,
and I do want to hit on that. His parents didn't believe in shit he was doing.
He described himself as sort of a awkward fat kid.
He's coming from a father who went to Harvard, and his parents did not have the highest expectations for him.
His parents thought he was the gum at the bottom of their shoe. So I feel like he didn't heal in that way either. So when it came to these kids, there was no care, nurturing nature for him because he never received it.
Right. That's true. I mean, I honestly don't feel like he was properly taught how to show empathy, because he wasn't shown it himself, which honestly is unfortunate. But everybody at the end of the day has a sob story. Everybody has their own shit that they go through, and it's up to you to choose how you want to move forward after that situation. And I just feel like he just chose the wrong choice.
Okay, and I agree with a lot of that. I do agree with that. My only issue is people comparing the Diddy to what Dan did. And Dan is definitely wrong. I am not advocating for Dan in any kind of way. I think that he was just allowed to do these things. I don't know if it was the white privilege. I don't know if it was the green of the money. I'm pretty sure that's basically what it was. And I think that was the parents, Dan, the producers, the executives, everybody who participated on those shows played a part in that.
Right. To touch on that, even with Amanda, they said it in the show that her mom and dad, especially her dad, were heavy on her, heavy on her career.
Linda Bynes' parents were very hands-on with her career, specifically her dad.
And shaping it and they used to work a lot real close to Dan just to make sure that they would go right. Yeah.
I think Amanda's dad kind of treated her like a wind-up doll.
Yeah, so how do you fault him if the parents are allowing him to do these things and want him to do these things? And I'm saying it's not right. And there are ways, you know, where you could accomplish the same things without being an asshole.
Right.
But Joe Jackson, Macaulay Culkin, some of these people, you know, they went through these horrible things. It might have made them a better actor, a better entertainer. You know, would we have these movies, this music, if these people didn't go through these things? Tina Turner. Sometimes beautiful things come out of horrible things, but in his situation, he was one drop in that big bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
And my issue, like I said, I'm not speaking on Diddy and his situation. I'm speaking on the memes, the posts, the comments about everybody's talking about Diddy. Why are they not talking about Dan?
Mm-hmm.
And if you read the list of the things that Diddy is accused of, allegedly, and the things that Dan is accused of, allegedly, as a survivor myself, no sin is greater than the next, but Dan's list is looking a little better. I'd rather be on that list than that list.
Because at the end of the day, you can fault Dan all you want, but at least he ain't touched the kids. At least he didn't do no... Allegedly.
And the things that he did do were a part of the male culture in the workplace.
In the 90s.
In the 90s.
In the 90s. Before that, even to this day, it's still going on. Yeah. It's still going on.
Women
to this
are
day.
getting shorted. Women are not respected. You barely see any women higher up, especially if
black women. Yeah, honestly, any woman of color.
Yeah,
if you're not a white woman, it's really hard for you to be successful.
Yeah. And I do want to touch on the comment you made that you said at least he didn't touch the kids.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I don't know if this is 100% factual.
We're hoping he didn't.
We're hoping it didn't happen. But there was a rumor that Amanda Bynes got pregnant at 13 and had to have an abortion. Really? And the alleged father was Dan.
I didn't know that.
I'm not gonna touch on
that. Yeah, I'm gonna be honestly. They didn't even touch about that on the show because like
the things that he did that we know of that people have accused him of were bad enough. Mm-hmm. The salary thing, the massage thing, those were adults. Those were adults. The telling her
her act sodomized.
Yeah, that situation. And the thing with that, I'm not gonna judge her. We could all say, I know I wouldn't have done it. I've missed out on a lot of money because I wouldn't do things. So I know I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But in the 2 tubs of ice cream, she did that. So I knew she was gonna.
Yeah.
When you're in that position, some people, you know, would do whatever to hold it. So. You know, and it's not fair for somebody to ask her to do that. And those other men in the room also could have said, "You're doing too much. Stop."
And see, but
they weren't
that's
gonna
what
lose
kills
their.
me.
They wasn't gonna lose their power.
But my thing is, it's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just it got to a point where he was given too much power, and nobody said anything before that because when he first started. Because of the money. When he first started in the status, you know, he had a little bit of power. Yeah, he had a little bit of pull, but it wasn't to the point that it was when he really got big. And because everybody took it as a joke.
Kept things pretty light in the beginning.
Or he was just joking around, or that's just how he is.
Dan was a big kid. He was always doing something to joke around or poke fun at somebody.
Like they didn't hold him accountable, and because they didn't hold him accountable, he thought he was perfectly fine.
There was no comma. It was a run-on sentence.
Right.
Like, nobody said, hey, the lady tried to sue him.
My lawyer filed complaints against the production company for gender discrimination, hostile work environment, harassment.
But she only had one person on her side.
And that was it. That was
everybody
the coworker.
was chittering their teeth because they were scared to come up.
And that's because, back to the respect that women do not get, we don't get the benefit of the doubt. We are at the bottom of
the food chain.
The food chain, yes. So,
and it's kind of it's
that's why I'm like, I can't blame him for stuff that he was allowed to do. And then we could touch on the Ariana Grande stuff too.
That was crazy. Because I remember watching those commercials.
I never seen those.
It wasn't a show necessarily, but it would come on and be little segments as commercials.
Like, I have not seen.
So I remember her pouring the water.
I was not big on that. I did watch all that and some Amanda Bynes, and that's about it from those shows. So
you were growing out of that.
Yeah,
stage.
and my all that was before Brian Hearn and them came out. That was like Kenan and Kel and that girl from the Steve Harvey show. So the white girl, I can't think of her name right now. We can look it up. But
the one that said that she didn't make it and she was supposed to get her own show, but she became too fat.
No, not even. No. She wasn't even on it. She wasn't on the documentary.
She was.
But,
no, she's talking about a different person.
The person I'm talking about. Yeah, but dang, I lost my thought. What was I saying?
About the Steve Harvey. That wasn't sure all that.
Yeah, so I didn't really, get into it too much. But watching the videos now, I have 4 daughters, by the way, and if they wanted to be, I support them whatever they want to do. If they wanted to be actresses and stuff, I would support them. But if I saw that, I would definitely raise hell. Right. My daughters are not doing that. But the parents had to see that at some point. The editors had to see that at one point. The cameraman is recording this. Dan's not recording.
They said he was all the way back and he was usually in the editing room. That's what the lady said.
That's what they said. Yeah,
the lady that was in the editing room, she said he was typically all the way in the back.
What about the FCC?
FCC?
What's that?
The FCC, that's not the people that determine what can show on TV and whatnot?
Yeah, and he said that.
the thing that shows before the little...
Yeah, that the ratings for who could watch it. So if this is a child show and they're approving this too, then they should be held responsible too.
Yeah,
they should get some of the blame
of the production
and stuff too. I mean, unless this man was writing the script, recording the video, edited it himself, put it out on tape, approving it, taking it to Nickelodeon or whoever and putting it on national TV himself, he's not the only person to blame.
He's not.
And it's certain things parents should not allow. And you can tell the difference with child stars whose parents really cared and whose parents just wanted the money, didn't care about their kids.
Like Zendaya, her parents, they're very supportive, but even with all like
her dad in line.
Yeah. Like even with all like the roles that she had, all the acting she did, they was like real big on like you gonna be a real human being, you gonna have fun, you gonna go to school, you gonna do this, that, and the third.
Keke Palmer.
She's a great example of somebody who got out of the industry and like really like made it her own for real. Like Keke Palmer. She's had multiple of her own shows. She's had the Keke Palmer show.
What's my other girl that don't age? The vampire. No, I'm just joking. No. Oh gosh. Go ahead and talk.
She was a vampire too,
though. It's gonna come. No, it's gonna come. Y'all go ahead. Finish.
My babysitter's a vampire.
No.
I love that show.
She's not a vampire for real. She just still looks the same.
Oh, I don't know.
Y'all so crazy.
I thought she was talking about the black girl from My
Babysitter. One-on-one basketball. Loving basketball.
Keela, something like
Kyla Pratt.
Yeah.
Kyla Pratt. Kyla Pratt. Why didn't she go crazy? What's going on?
Because I seen her in some of the photos.
I did see the girl from Taina. That was the Nickelodeon show with the Hispanic girl. But her sister, she has a big sister that was an actress too. And they asked her about it. She was like, my Puerto Rican mother was right there. Like, nothing was going to happen. So I put a lot of blame on these parents. And then, should we talk about Brian?
Yeah, that's all.
Brian
Her mother was not for the bullshit.
And Tracy, hold on. I was complaining too much. I became the oddball.
And I loved Brian Hearn, by the way. I was a fan from Hardball, okay? So I didn't even know that he kind of like stopped acting because of that stuff. But go ahead.
So with Brian Hearn mom, that was somebody active and wasn't tolerating disrespect when it came to her child. She let something slide like Fetus Boy.
Rapper of all time, Lil Fetus.
I ain't gonna cap. I'm not letting that shit slide.
What is that?
That is weird. If I was a parent and I'm watching my
knew,
son dance and do all that as a fetus, you're crazy.
And I know from an aspect of watching that interaction that the reason he didn't go to his mother, like he said, because she was gonna cause hell.
There's a moment where I felt like, oh, I could go get my mom about this. But also, I know my mom. And I know that she would have rose hell.
But I feel like he was like, "Oh, mom, this doesn't bother me. Oh, this is okay. Let's cool out on this one." So I know it was a lot of him talking her down, but
and that may be what a lot of the kids did. But as a parent, you still have to advocate for your child.
Imagine
that's why
being
he didn't
like
get
that.
called for that third season.
But imagine being in a position where you have to talk your parents down, because now. He even said it in the video. When they were literally coming up with Fetus Boy and they were asking him what skin color that they should do all that. When did he say charcoal?
And obviously it has to be skin tone. Someone said the skin tone should be charcoal.
Is this nigga serious?
Nigga's not even like he brown. He not even like real like dark skin like that. What the fuck is you talking about charcoal, nigga? Like, and then his dresser has to like
racial slurs
and see. I want to say that like it's crazy how I know y'all said like we gotta blame not only Dan but the people who read off and like produced it and everything. But this was kind of like how I was telling you earlier.
New. That's the mammy role. From when Hollywood first started, when they finally accepted black people in the movies, you had to be a mammy.
Drug dealer.
Yeah.
Drug
like
dealer,
you had to be a crackhead
and
rapper.
What was he selling?
Cookies.
You want to buy some girly cookies? You're not a girl.
He was a Girl Scout. He was dressed up like a Girl Scout selling Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
And made it seem like he was selling crack.
He set up the scene like he was selling drugs. And I was like, oh, the black kid gets to be the crack dealer?
Bro,
that's what they referenced it as.
Bro, I was so livid because I didn't even remember that episode.
Okay, back then.
And
that's why you can't blame Dan. You could blame Dan for asking women for massages. Mm-hmm. You could blame Dan for yelling, cussing out the children, treating them poorly. But releasing inappropriate things and putting the kids in inappropriate scenes and situations, you can't just blame him for that.
And what was up with having dogs lick peanut butter off of a kid?
That was weird. But then the dogs come, I'm laying on the ground, and then the dogs, they gotta lick peanut butter off my body.
Yeah, that was so weird to me, even watching that, because I remember, you said you remember watching that episode too.
Because I was into Fear Factor, so I actually liked the show. But actually, as an adult, going back and seeing that, why is a scorpion going down a kid's throat?
Bro, if you really pay attention to the clip, the scorpion is literally
an adult's throat.
They're doing it for money in their own. They did that on their own accord. They had a choice.
The kids, I don't even think they really got asked for real. Like
I don't think that they. I think it was like real improv. It's like they didn't know exactly what was going to happen until the time. But that's what I'm saying. That women we're under, Black people and other people of color. We're under all of that stuff. And all of those things were approved by multiple people. You watched it, and as a child, you didn't understand it. It was probably weird.
Because the innocence of a child.
Right.
Until you get to middle school and y'all start talking about certain things like that.
Yeah, why him? Why couldn't it be one of the little
other boys? That was a white kid that had a Scorpio going down his throat.
No, but I'm talking about being...
No, it was a Hispanic kid, actually.
I'm talking about being put in peanut butter and having a dog
lick it off.
Lick you.
And he caught in the scene. He's constantly saying, "I'm uncomfortable."
And
that sounds like some kind of awkward fantasy from some freaky dude. It was really uncomfortable. I didn't like that.
I don't like this. I feel gross.
My children, I have to hem them up sometime, but they not gonna let anybody just do anything to them. And I guarantee you, from the last one to the first one, if they were in that scene and they didn't want that to happen, it was not happening.
Oh, hell no!
They would have tore the whole setup.
They wouldn't have had the peanut butter in the first place.
Oh, so that's why I say, bro, you lucky people like us wasn't on that, because I would have raised
But different
hell.
time, different era.
Yeah.
Different time,
and
different
you
era.
learn as time goes by. You learn as you get older. Now you know that you can make you can strike. You can do what we've seen so many times over the years, all these different Hollywood strikes and stuff like that. So, at the time they were just trying to make money for their family. A lot of these kids were taking care of their family.
Like Brian said, his dream was to get out the hood.
I thought my dream of being able to take my family quite literally out the hood was on its way.
It's like a toxic relationship. You staying in it for the benefit and dealing with all the pain and anguish at the same time. Especially when you're taking care of other people. So I could definitely see it. I felt that burden, and I'm not a child star.
Facts.
Yeah.
Same.
The child endangerment laws.
The set on all that was dysfunctional. You could just kind of get away with more, like going overtime in ways that were sort of pushing the envelope.
Didn't he say that they were constantly going over the child endangerment laws, constantly working over the time they were supposed to?
Be like, hey, can you stay an extra however long? I guess, sure. You kind of look at your mom like, we're ignoring child labor laws again. Do you know? All right, let's shoot.
They wouldn't even tell him a time.
So,
They'd be like, can you stay? Can
Yeah,
you stay
can you just stay?
Whatever, yeah.
Can you just stay and record? We need to finish this tonight.
And were you getting paid extra in overtime?
I don't
You
think
were
so.
not. You were not. People were getting half salaries. The guy...
Women.
No, not only women.
No, not only women.
Not only
Who
women.
else got the half salary?
The
PA. I mean, of course he did his dirt and he was a bad person. But technically, he only got paid for 3
Half a
days
week.
out of the week.
He only got paid half a week. He was there on his own will to work with the kids. But he was
a pedophile.
A pedophile.
So that could have also
that was
like
his
And who was
enjoyment.
that?
Yeah, Jason. That's the first one.
Jason.
So that could have been his reason
Yeah, that
why
was
he
his
was
benefit.
cool. Yeah.
Now
so.
my other wonder, I guess I'll say, did Dan know about that? Now, if Dan knew about these things, I feel like that's another aspect. And then we need to compare him to Diddy.
He didn't know about
If he knew, I know he was there for Drake.
After the fact.
He supported, but at the time he wasn't under fire when he was supporting Drake. So I feel like it seemed genuine. But at the same time, and maybe he was too busy doing his own foolishness to really
But
notice.
look at this. Now that you said something, you really put something together in my head. He might actually have known, because remember what Drake said when everybody found out about it and found out what was going on.
When
Nobody
they first
knew
asked
it was
the
him.
kid,
Nobody
and he
knew it
called
was
and
Drake,
said,
and
"Is it you?"
Dan called him and said is he
it
talking
you?
about you?
Dan called and asked me, does this have anything to do with you? Well, I was close enough with Dan that I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
So he might have not known, but he had an
idea. It could be in hindsight too. He could
That's
say they
it,
spent a lot of time.
Brian was spending so much time around me that it was pretty obvious.
They
Together.
they spent a lot of time, and maybe
And the
that
way-
day he wasn't there.
The way he
All
was
the kids were
acting,
there, but he wasn't there.
I'm sure that wasn't like when he said he was with his girlfriend and he kept on calling. Like I'm sure that wasn't the first time
That's
That was
crazy.
that they
That's
had
insane.
an episode like that.
And then kudos to Drake's ex-girlfriend's mom.
I hope she's set for life.
Bro, I know he
I
set
hope
her
he
up.
set her up.
I know he had to.
Because for her to say, fuck the mom, I'm doing
Taking
this,
you
I'm
there.
taking Drake to, we gonna touch on that subject, but I'm taking Drake to therapy, our therapist, and he's gonna be with us.
And I have to say too, I do commend her for that. And I feel like that's the type of person that I am. But today is a different
It's so
day.
different.
Like that was good back in the day. Nowadays it's a shady area.
It's because nobody wants to be seen as a bad parent. And that's fine and dandy, but it's like at a point you got to understand you don't catch everything in your kid's life. You're not going to catch everything in your kid's life just because of the dynamic that y'all have. So it just really kind of just, that's why I say I just have to give the mom props, because it takes a lot for a parent to put themselves in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not even my kid.
And speaking of moms, did he say what his relationship is with his mom now?
No,
he didn't
he
speak
never
on
mentioned
it.
it.
He spoke about
But she's
his
not
dad.
here. She's not in the video,
She
so
didn't
I
talk
feel like
about
that
it.
speaks volumes.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it necessarily speaks
I
volumes
was
because
really
that could be.
upset with her.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so
I think out of the whole documentary,
I blame her the
I
most.
was upset with her the most.
I was so pissed off when they were telling me her.
I cried.
Oh, I was so mad when she gave this nigga the power
I
to
wanted to
take
fight
Drake
her.
to auditions and spend the night at his place.
Let me hit on that. In my eyes, it seemed like you despise your ex-husband that much to ignore every sign. You wanted to go the
I didn't
opposite.
even see that.
What?
I didn't even see that it was a despised situation.
This is how I feel.
No, I feel like she listened to Drake and stuff, and she listened to Brian.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that, how you could be, persuaded to take over. I understood it up to that part. After that, I don't understand.
How, Sway?
When a man specifically names a person and tells you to keep my child away from this person.
To her, and I said this to her in person, I said, but you never, ever leave Drake alone with Brian Peck.
Tells you
Don't
the
leave
reason
him
why.
alone with this person. He had already, and back to the studio and that green money, because he had already went and talked to those people too, by the way. But
And they said he was
as a mother, when somebody tells you specifically, you know me personally, you kind of do. If the people that I don't mess with, do they come around my children?
No.
And if I find out you had them around my children,
You got hell to pay.
It's gonna be a problem.
That's
So,
gonna be an issue.
in my eyes, it's you despise your ex-husband that much to say, you know what, fuck what he said. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and if he said no to this, fuck his opinion. I'm gonna do this. I'm too lazy to go do this.
and that's a common thread. It's a common thread. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Can I interrupt?
Go ahead.
With the situations. R. Kelly, Michael Jackson allegations. These things is always these parents leaving their children alone with these adults in unnecessary situations.
Like why?
Like, no, I'm a grown woman. I have 4 children. I don't want to take my own children to theme parks. I go because my kids want to go. But I'll be damned if you see me leave my kids at home and invite your child to a theme park.
He knew that I loved going to Disneyland. Say, hey, me and my friends are going to Disneyland. You know, would you like to come? And we'd go spend the whole day there and have a great time.
It don't make sense to me. No regular adult does that. No matter if you're trying to poach a child. I've seen people come and say, oh yeah, I got tickets for a game, da-da-da, for you and your son. You and your daughter. Not, let me take your daughter or son to a game.
And that's okay. And the fact
that's
that
why the parents, but go ahead.
She barely knows this guy, because the dad was the one taking him to auditions, picking him up every day, showing him the scenery.
There was a huge gap, and then very, very quickly, Brian put himself in the position of what my dad was doing my whole life.
Yeah, I ain't never had to put eyes on him ever. This could have been her first day seeing him. When the father said, this name, don't leave this child with this name, she should have listened.
Harriet! And it wasn't just this name. He said because of this, and that.
Honestly.
When he went to the people and they said, oh, you're just homophobic.
They guessed.
That's a red
I would have
flag.
said, yes, I am.
Like,
even more reason, my son is a boy.
Exactly. That's what I was saying, bro. That's what I was telling you.
I would have said,
Like,
I am
they
homophobic about the gay
gaslighted
man and my
him.
son.
They
And I don't have
gaslighted
nothing
this man.
against gay people. But if I tell you I'm uncomfortable with this person and the way he is with my child, and you tell me that he's gay and I'm a homophobe, I'm going to tell you, yes.
Yeah, I am. So
Now
stop.
keep my child away from him unless somebody's in the room. There's a camera everywhere he goes. We not playing that.
And that shit really pissed me off, bro, because it's like, not even just like that, but just the whole situation with the dad. There's not too many dads who are hands-on like that in their kid's life and attentive. Like, because he picked up on it real quick, real early.
Something's off about
Something's
him.
off, and everybody kept making him seem like he was homophobic. There was gaslighting him. They was making it seem like he was crazy when he was just being a good father. And that shit really pissed me off, because like, if you really watch the show and you see how
And
even
that's why I
Drake
say,
said.
when he went to them people, nobody didn't mention nothing to Dan.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I don't know.
And another big part of
Dan was in control of everything else.
It's on the same
Let them
topic.
tell
It's
it.
on the same topic. Another big part is y'all having kids party at this man's house. It was seen that he messes with John Wayne Gacy.
My God, that killed me.
Pen pals with John Wayne Gacy, and nobody thought, this is crazy.
This is
He is a
serial killer.
pen pal.
'Cause I wasn't
Constantly
there.
talks, has letters with this man about Lord knows what. You're talking to a serial killer that's
Keep
also
it by
a
his
sex
bed.
offender, that's also a pedophile, that's also just a gross individual.
And don't forget how excited he was to tell everybody, because the first person
And
he
he
told
gathered-
was a child. And,
Oh my God.
and a child
And
knew
he
he was a
gathered
serial killer.
everyone around to say this, and no parent raised an eyebrow.
I would have been like, yeah, son, this is going to be the last
And
time we come over
homeboy
here.
with the glasses that picked up on that. I liked him.
Yeah, he was a
What's
smart.
his name, Andrew?
I don't know. He was the dude that was on the Amanda show. He was,
Yeah, I know him.
Sorry for
But-
yeah, sorry, we just don't remember your name.
But I just want to say, I know he felt like he was in the Twilight Zone. I get that feeling sometimes. Like, am I the only person
Who just peeped
seeing this and hearing this? But we still have to remember that was 90s too. It wasn't the social media and the stuff that we have today. And it was easier to be blackballed in Hollywood. If you were the it person, you could make the rules, as we clearly see.
And you know what's kind of, just touching back on the Drake and his dad situation, it was really kind of heartbreaking to see how a father and son did this to get really, like they were already close. Drake said that they were already close, but when they started doing this, they got even closer. So the fact that their relationship, like their whole, like the fact their relationship got shooky.
My son wants. It's killing me. It's hurting me. It's breaking my heart, but I want to do what Drake wants. So I said, okay.
I can't imagine for a father to know that his son was violated in that way, and he tried to protect him, and it still happened.
Nah. The last sentence when he said, when the mother called and said when he seen they arrested Brian, excuse me.
And
I knew it.
And my dad just goes, I am so glad that he was not able to get his hands on you. My dad's very emotional, and we were starting to rekindle our relationship, and I just couldn't.
Didn't tell him at first.
He didn't tell him. In the conversation with the mom, and he said, I knew there was something wrong. I'm glad they didn't get our boy. That
I know the mama felt like shit.
Oh, I know that feeling too.
That broke
and
my
that's why
heart.
I felt for the father, because I know that feeling. I know he felt relief, he felt joy, and then just to get it ripped away.
How did it make you feel when you finally found out?
Are you kidding? I'm not the same today. The pain's still there from the moment that I knew.
And I know it's still hell.
He cried about it.
Yeah,
It's
in the show.
2024. That happened in the 90s.
Yeah, he
feels
hurt.
that, and they're trying to regain their
a good
bond.
parent. That's a good parent.
And even when it's crazy because when the dad found out that they arrested him and Drake had already stopped talking, and they had already
their relationship
it was very rocky, and honestly, I feel I can relate to it personally because me and my father's relationship is not the best at all. So to see a actual father try to protect his son, fight to stay in his son's life, and do all he can to protect his son is kind of just damn, because he really tried his best, and not to say that he failed, but it's just kind of fucked up.
Way off topic, but I just said that same thing about Kindergarten Cop, and I don't know if y'all know that movie. I'm old.
Kindergarten Cop.
It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was a substitute kindergarten teacher, undercover cop. Great movie. Y'all go watch it. And it ain't no spoiler alert because the people my age done seen this movie.
I thought
I gotta watch the Kindergarten Cop.
But this little boy, basically, his father was looking for him. And his father was a bad person, but he loved his son enough. He was willing to risk killing people, going to jail, all of that to get to his son. And then here's Arnold Schwarzenegger, who loves this little boy too, and he gonna fight to protect him. Like, that little boy was so lucky to have these two men, even though the one was bad, but the sentiment was there. But yeah, go ahead. That was Drake's father is a good man.
Yeah, he is.
Like you said, those parents, him, Brian Hearn's mom, those are the ones that get fired. But people have to see those signs when somebody is constantly in your ear, or somebody has a problem with you having a problem with something.
Yeah.
And the only reason Drake really stayed is because of Brian Peck.
Out. Yeah, he couldn't get out. He tried to.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the reason, because the dad had fight back. Mm-hmm. Every parent that had fight back was gone.
Except Drake's
Brian
dad.
Peck is the reason why he stayed. Let's keep it a buck.
And they're talking about this grooming.
Oh, you're right.
And he had to.
And it's a kid. You giving them trips to Disneyland
every other week.
You know, being the fun guy.
But my thing is,
or even saying
he had to go talk to them, because
your
remember,
dad is gonna make it hard for you.
Yeah,
to work.
He said
stealing your money.
He went to speak to everybody, then came to my parent, his mom, to say, "Hey, no, this is a bad guy. We got to get him out of here," just so he could stay. He had to talk to all the producers. Then he had to jump through hoops to get Drake to stay. And he went through all of them, even the mother.
That nigga's sick.
That's what I realized. Like, all in all, the reason why Drake had a career is because Brian Peck, and the reason why Dan kept him, in my opinion, is because he felt bad. Because this was before Drake and Josh, and he still did Drake and Josh. And after that, he was let go.
He was let go after Drake and Josh?
I don't remember him doing anything else.
No, I think he. I don't think he was. No, he wasn't because he just got smaller acting roles because he was still on Nickelodeon. Because I remember they had made a live action of Fairy Odd Parents, and he was the person who played Timmy.
Oh, okay. But yeah, but after that, what else?
Yeah, I mean nothing big is.
Well,
I get what you mean.
I think he needed to take time away.
Yeah, he needed to be away.
did.
Especially, I think he should have left Nickelodeon.
When you talk about the support that Brian Peck had in the court, and these are people that he worked with, peers.
Wow.
So I wouldn't
he's
wanna,
free now.
Yeah, now he's free, and I'm glad that he named some of those names. And some of those people I'm looking at sideways. And
That's one thing that honestly, out of the whole Drake situation, that one like honestly just disappointed me the most. Like I literally,
it's not unusual.
Yeah, it's not unusual.
And the crazy thing is, watching that, honestly, it's not the first. It's not gonna be the last, and it just makes you kind of just lose faith in humanity.
Do things differently and learn from these things.
And there's black people today in jail for stealing a 99-cent piece of gum. And we have these white men that sexually abusers.
Bro, he literally had people in the letters saying the only way they can see him possibly doing this is if a 14-year-old kid tempted him. A 14-year-old kid tempting somebody.
A lot of those letters said that. And yeah, that pissed me off too because you can't tempt me.
A 14-year-old doesn't even know how to seduce, to begin to seduce a grown person.
It doesn't matter. As an adult,
like you can't.
A child can run around here naked, trying to tempt anybody. As an adult, you are supposed to have control of yourself, restraint. I can only speak for me. I'm not even feeling no kind of way from a child doing any weird crap. You can't be tempted. Like, you should not be able to even think that way. If a child was tempting, you should stop.
I'd be making look at that. That's weird. Like,
yeah, like, what are you doing? I'm about to call your mother. I'm going to call your father. You were being tempted.
The only thing you could do for me is stay in school.
You told everything else. His father was so bad and this and that. Why didn't you say that if that was the case? And it should not be the case. It is never, no matter what a child does, adults should not be doing anything and saying you can't be tempted by a child. You want to do something. That's the only way a temptation is a want.
And it just makes you just look at all the people
I don't think people.
What about him admitting?
I don't think people look at temptation as if you're tempted by something, you want that.
Yeah.
Like,
and that comes from reading. Yes, he admitted to doing something. And I've seen a few of the people say they didn't know the whole situation. Baby, you can't get me to write you a letter in court if I don't know the whole situation. So let's not do that anymore,
but see, that's a lie.
Just because you know somebody, if you don't know the whole situation, don't write no letters of support, Ashton Kutcher.
But my thing is all the people that wrote the letters that's talking about, oh, I didn't know the full story. You a fucking lie. Because the news, they're right there.
But you don't know everything, but you know, when you went to the court, you seen him come up in that court. So you knew right then and there. You heard the allegations, you heard the confession.
Well, as you can see, we're in a new location. Ooh, ah. So y'all don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, and don't forget you gotta like, comment, and subscribe.
Period.
And all right, y'all. Let's have another great day. Y'all be blessed and
cool.
And me and this